Have you ever noticed that some people don't need words to reveal who they really are? Just a second, a slight glance, an out-of-place silence, a smile that arrives too late, and in that exact instant, you feel, even without understanding, that something is wrong. It's as if a shadow passes behind the person, but only you can see it. The problem? Most people ignore this feeling. You probably have, and that's exactly why you've been deceived before. But not today. Today, you will learn to see what no one else sees. And I'm going to show you why this will change everything. Imagine someone watching you right now, not with overt malice, but with intent, unspoken intent. Intent that only becomes apparent when it slips out from the corners. And here's the question you never had the courage to ask. Why do some people look at you as if they're deciding what they can take from your mind before you even speak? The answer exists, and you're going to find out, but not now. There's still one piece missing that you haven't noticed, and I want you to feel that missing piece before I reveal it. Human intentions are like blades hidden in elegant coats. You only realize it when you're already bleeding, and that's why I need to start with a story, short, real, and uncomfortable. One day, a man named Elias walked into a conference room with a smile so perfect it seemed rehearsed. He greeted everyone, asked kind questions, helped carry boxes, and brought coffee. Within 3 days, he knew everything about every team member, who was insecure, who needed approval, who was afraid of change. Within 4 days, 2 employees confided personal information in him. On the 5th day, he used everything to manipulate internal decisions, reorganize roles, and position himself as indispensable. Do you know what made all of this possible? Not his intelligence, but their blindness. They only saw his face. They never saw the intention. Now, I need you to realize what's really hiding behind this story. Because Elias wasn't extraordinary, he was ordinary. The kind of person you find at work, in your family, dating, friendships, online, offline, in any environment where humans compete for invisible advantage. The truth is this: most people don't speak with their mouths. They communicate with microexpressions that last 1/5 of a second, and whoever learns to read this will never be fooled again. But here's the first loop that I'm going to leave open on purpose. Someone's true intentions, it doesn't appear when the person is calm. It appears when the person is being watched and tries to disguise itself. We're not going to get into that yet. You need to feel the tension building before you see it explode. Because now we've reached the most awkward point. You've missed signs like these before, and someone, at some point, read you before you could defend yourself. You know that, I know that, and that's why we're here. Do you want to learn how to read intentions? But what you really want is to never be read again. This starts now, but it only continues if you join me in the next part. And be careful. Next, you will learn about the first hidden mechanism that reveals human intentions, even when the person tries to hide them. And when you finally see this, you'll never stop seeing again. You noticed the first shadow, but you still don't know what it means. Most people believe that intention is something that lives in the mind, hidden behind silent thoughts. But real intention lives in the body. The body reveals it before the person can hide it. It always escapes first, always. And here is the truth that almost no one accepts. People lie with words, never with micro movements. You'll start noticing it now. And when you notice, you'll realize you never really knew who was standing in front of you. Do you know why? Because human intention doesn't emerge when someone is comfortable. It appears in the milliseconds when someone is trying to look comfortable. Therefore, when you look at someone and feel something strange, it's not your imagination. It's your instinct picking up on micro scratches that your mind hasn't yet translated. But before I teach you how to decode this, you need to understand a story that almost no one knows, and that defines everything we're going to explore from here on out. It was a quiet afternoon in a small cafe. A woman named Helena was waiting for someone she had been talking to for weeks. The man seemed perfect in the messages, polite, articulate, attentive, but the moment he walked through the door, Helena froze. Not because he was different from what she imagined. He was exactly the same. And that was the problem. He smiled too quickly. His mouth opened before his eyes reacted. His head tilted before his body followed, as if each gesture had been programmed, rehearsed, reproduced, but not felt. And it was there, in that first fraction of a second, that she felt a profound discomfort. Discomfort she ignored. 3 months later, she discovered that he had already done this with 5 other women. They all said the same thing. I felt something was wrong at first, but I didn't want to seem paranoid. And here's the Machiavellian point you need to remember. Those who fear appearing paranoid become prey. Those who thrive on discomfort become predators. Now that you've seen the hidden pattern, let's uncover the first psychological mechanism that reveals intentions in seconds. A. Microquebra, a small break, minimal failure, the human glitch. Every manipulator, every false ally, every self-serving person creates an emotional armor to appear trustworthy, kind, and secure. But nobody can maintain a perfect mask. The mask always cracks. And when it cracks, the intention leaks out. A micro-fracture occurs when a person, she smiles, but the muscles around her eyes remain still. He agrees, but his jaw tightens slightly. Speak calmly, but breathe quickly when finishing the sentence. He says, of course, but his shoulders retract by millimeters. Maintains eye contact for a second longer than is natural. You will never see someone's face the same way again, because now the real game begins. But before I give you the complete key, I need to open another loop, an even bigger one. There are people who train to hide these micro-fractures, but even they fail, and I'll show you why in the next part. But before that, a dark revelation needs to be made. You think you are learning to identify intention in others, but without realizing it, you're starting to see through the intentions you yourself are trying to hide from the world. And when we get to part 4, this will become evident. So obvious it might scare you, but not now, not yet. Next, you will learn the second hidden mechanism, the one that even trained professionals miss without realizing it. The mechanism that exposes dangerous, overly charismatic, overly trustworthy people too quickly. You've already grasped the micro breakdown. You've noticed that intention leaks out before words are spoken, but there's an even more dangerous mechanism, one that almost no one notices, precisely because it's silent. It happens when a person don't talk. The second hidden mechanism is the directional silence. And I want you to understand something essential. Silence is never empty. He always points somewhere. There are people who use silence as a bridge to think, breathe, digest. But there are others who use silence as a trapdoor to observe you, measure you, study you without you realizing it. And you've been a victim of this silence more times than you realize. People with neutral intentions speak up to clarify. People with good intentions speak up to connect. But people with hidden intentions, they stay quiet to watch you expose yourself. It is in silence that the most efficient manipulators hide, not in speech, not in the smile, not in a kind way, but in the space between one sentence and another. And to understand this, you need to see the next micro story. Imagine a room, a table, an interrogator and a suspect. The interrogator asks a simple question: where were you last night? Most people expect fear, hesitation, nervousness, but the suspect is smiling, slowly, then silence. And in that silence, not in the smile, lies the real intention. He doesn't answer because he wants to observe what the question does to the interrogator. He wants to gauge what the other person expects to hear. He wants time to figure out which answer will be most convincing. This type of silence is not passive, it's predatory. Now, bring that into your life. Think of someone you know, someone who observes you more than they talk to you, someone who listens to you attentively, but not to understand you, to map you out. When someone's silence makes you uneasy, insecure, confused, or talkative, that silence is intentional. It's a social trap designed to make you reveal more than you should. People with ulterior motives are in no hurry. They use silence as a sophisticated weapon. Fools talk too much. Predators talk too little. But there's an even darker subtlety here. Directional silence is not simply the absence of voice. It is the strategic absence of reaction. Observe someone who is listening to something sensitive about you. If the person smiles, you understand. If she frowns, you understand. But if she doesn't react even a millimeter, this is the moment when you take a risk. Artificial neutrality is the perfect hiding place for an intention, because every genuine emotion creates movement. The absence of movement creates a mask. But make no mistake, no one can maintain perfect neutrality. Something always slips through the cracks, and when it escapes, you'll realize. Because directional silence has physical cues that give away the predator. Pupils slightly dilated when observing your vulnerability. Reduced breathing to avoid distraction from analysis. Head still, as if maintaining a steady image to study better. A slight forward tilt when you say something emotional. Eyes that do not blink at a natural frequency. You've seen this before, and now you remember exactly who did this to you. But we are not yet ready to open the third mechanism. You first need to understand why even good people, they use directional silence without realizing it. And this is where a new loop opens. Intention does not depend on a person's character. It depends on the person's level of fear. When fear changes, so does intention. And in the next part, you'll understand exactly how this works and why even people you love can send you signals of assessment and risk. But that only happens if you keep going. You've believed your whole life that intentions are fixed, whether someone is good or bad, that someone wants to help you or harm you. But that's emotional immaturity, and I need to free you from this now, even if it hurts. The truth is simple, brutal, and nobody wants to admit it. A person's intentions change according to what they fear. Fear is the secret architect of human intention. And when fear changes direction, intentions change along with it. Good people can hurt you out of fear of losing you. Trustworthy people may manipulate you out of fear of being rejected. Kind people may control you out of fear of being alone. And kind people can turn into monsters if they perceive you as a threat. The character is stable. That's not the intention. Intention dances as the shadow of fear moves. And to understand this, you need to see the symbolic micro-history that underpins this entire logic. Imagine a wolf and a deer drinking water from the same spring. The wolf does not attack. He is satiated, tranquil, calm. The deer doesn't run away. He is relaxed, confident, and secure. For a few minutes, they coexist. No hostile intent. Apparently, absolute harmony. But then, a branch breaks in the forest. The deer gets scared. His body tenses. His fear rises. The wolf sees this. This fear awakens the predator's instinct. The wolf advances. The same wolf, the same deer, the same water, the same forest. Just an intention transformed because fear has changed. Now think about all the relationships in your life, all of them, without exception. There is no one who has always wanted to protect you, not even the person who always wanted to hurt you. What existed and still exists is you in the role of a deer or in the role of a wolf, and that changes as fear changes. I know this part is uncomfortable, but you need to understand this before you can learn to read intentions in seconds, because intention is not static. It pulsates, deforms, recalibrates itself with each new fear, new insecurity, new perceived threat, and that's why someone could love you deeply, and even then, it hurt you. Not because I wanted to, but because he was afraid. I was afraid of losing you. He feared being replaced. He feared being diminished. He feared being too vulnerable. Fear always shapes the hidden gesture, the tone of voice, posture, hesitation, by press, the delay, silence. And now comes the critical Machiavellian point that you should never forget. Fear breeds intention. Intention generates behavior. Behavior generates signals. Signs reveal the truth, and that's precisely why people reveal their intentions, even when they try to hide them. The body is enslaved by fear. He reports it before the person even realizes it. And here's the loop I'm opening now to close much later. There are 5 subtle signs that reveal exactly what intention that person's fear is activating. 5, not 4, not 10, 5. And you've seen them all in your life, but I never knew what they meant. I never knew how to interpret them. I never knew how to use them to my advantage. But before I show you those signs, you need to understand the root of human intention. People don't do what they want. They do what fear allows them to do, or whatever fear compels. And when you learn to read the fear behind someone, you learn to read that person's intentions in seconds, flawless. And once you see that, no one will ever be able to fool you again. In the next chapter, you will receive the 5 subtle signs one by one, using visual metaphors, examples, interpretations, and codes for immediate reading. This is the part that transforms the average viewer. Strategist, you already understand that fear shapes intention, but now you need to see what ordinary eyes ignore. Because every human intention, good or bad, leaves a trace. And whoever learns to read these clues masters the social game without anyone realizing it. I'm going to show you now the 5 subtle signs. They are so small that his mind has always perceived them, but he never knew how to translate them. Today, that changes. Get ready. After this experience, you'll never look at anyone the same way again. 1. Conflicting microexpressions. The face that lies on its own. This is the fastest and most treacherous signal. When someone tries to appear kind, but their eyebrow rises 0.5 millimeter. When someone says they're happy, but the corner of their eye doesn't match the smile. When someone says everything's fine, but their neck tenses before the sentence is finished. These micro-expressions last 5 of a second, and they always arise when the real intention contradicts the intention that the person is trying to demonstrate. Good people can't hide their discomfort. People with malicious intent are unable to fake genuine emotion. And here's the key. Every false intention causes a crack in the face. Your brain sees the crack, but you learn to ignore it. He'll never do that again. 2. Directional gaze. The invisible map of intention eyes never move by chance. They always point to where the mind is. Here is the code. Down, shame, fear, submission. To the sides, seeking escape, evasion, lying. 2. Directos calculation, analysis, monitoring. Reduced, blinking, predatory focus. Rapid blinking anxiety and unstable intentions. When someone looks directly at you without looking away, that's not sincerity, it's monitoring. And when someone looks at the door in the middle of a conversation, it's not a distraction. It is the intention to get out of the situation, social, emotional, or psychological. The gaze is the compass of intention. 3. The fractioned posture. The body speaks before the mind. Intention doesn't begin with speech. It starts in the body. Observe feet pointing away from the street, discomfort or a desire to escape, shrunken shoulders, emotional defensiveness, fear or distrust. Trunk slightly inclined forward, strategic interest, attempt at control. Trunk set back, retreat, rejection or protection. Hidden hands, undisclosed intention. But there is an even more dangerous detail. The body betrays us when the mind hasn't yet decided what to say. If someone changes their posture before opening their mouth, that's blatant intent, genuine intention before the social filter. 4. Irregular emotional timing, emotion out of sync. When someone reacts too quickly, it's rehearsed. When it reacts too slowly, is calculating. This signal reveals 2 types of intention. Manipulative intent, emotion reacting too quickly. Hidden intention, emotion too slow. And then there is a 3rd type, the most dangerous. The person who overreacts. At the perfect time, at the perfect intensity, at the perfect moment. Emotional perfection is never natural. It's performance, and every performance is driven by intention. 5. Strategic agreement, the yes that tries to trap you. This is the most ignored sign and the most fatal. When someone agrees with everything you say, It's not about affinity, it's a capture. Authentic people disagree. Confident people score points. Balanced people ask questions. But people with hidden intentions, they agree too quickly, too easily, too soon. They want to make you uncomfortable because comfort creates vulnerabilities, and vulnerabilities reveal everything they need to know. Excessive agreement is the hallmark of the most elegant manipulators. These 5 signs do not exist in isolation. They always appear combined, in sequence, like parts of an invisible choreography of human intention. And now that you know this choreography, here begins the dark part. Use this to your advantage, but be careful, because when you learn to read signs like that, you also begin to see your own signs, the ones you tried to hide from the whole world. And that brings us to the next part, the point where psychology ceases to be mere observation and it becomes a weapon. Now you know the 5 signs, but knowing how to recognize intention is not enough. You need to learn how to protect yours, because the moment you see what others are hiding, they inevitably begin trying to see what you're hiding. This is where psychology ceases to be mere observation, and it becomes armor. And if you don't learn this invisible shield, you'll just be a reader of intentions, not a strategist. And a strategist is never read, it's never predictable, it is never vulnerable. Now you will receive the Machiavellian tools of defense, and each one of them is a silent blade that cuts off any attempt at manipulation before it even begins. 1. Calculated neutrality, the void that confuses predators. Ordinary people react, strong people respond, but strategists, they deliver nothing. Calculated neutrality is an art. It's about speaking without emotion, listening without haste, seeing without reacting. When someone tries to pressure you emotionally, your composure remains intact. When someone expects you to show excitement or fear, you deliver nothing. Nothing is more unsettling to a manipulator than emotional silence. Predators need a reaction to gauge the effect. When there is no reaction, they go blind. You cease to be visible prey. It becomes a dark wall, impenetrable. 2. The invisible mirror, the weapon that returns intention. When someone asks a question that seems innocent but isn't, you don't answer. You mirror. They ask, "Do you trust me?" You return, "Why did you need to ask that?" They say, "You're acting strange." You reply, "What made you think that now?" The invisible mirror returns the weight of the intention to the one who tried to cast it. They expose themselves, they explain, they justify themselves, and every justification reveals fear, and all fear reveals intention. 3. Strategic delay, the poison that breaks manipulators. Manipulators operate at the speed of emotion. They need your quick response, from his momentary confusion, from your impulse. Then you do the opposite. It's delayed. 3 seconds, that's all. 3 seconds before responding with anything emotional. This micro delay is devastating. It destroys the manipulator's entire rhythm. He breaks the script he planned for you. He reveals his true intentions, because in this delay, he shows impatience, anxiety, frustration. Strategic delay is the art of letting the other person reveal themselves while believing they remain hidden. 4. Cold anchoring, the emotional climate you control. You choose a single dominant emotion for the interaction. Calm down, can, distance, and it remains so, perfectly. This anchoring makes the other person feel observed, measured, analyzed. He tries to break her stability, but he can't. And it is at this moment that he realizes he has no emotional control over you. When someone loses emotional control over you, loses psychological control, and when you lose psychological control, loses intention. 5. The controlled shadow, the art of being visible and inaccessible. Most people think that protection means hiding everything. That's naive. True shielding is showing only what doesn't matter. You provide small, harmless details, mild preferences, neutral opinions, superficial stories. This information acts like smoke and mirrors. The person believes they know you, but he knows nothing about what really matters. The manipulator only attacks when they believe they understand you. When you control what he thinks he understood, you control the game. These 5 tools form your first layer of defense. But defense is not enough, because when you become impenetrable, people begin to test their limits. And that's why the next part is so important, the psychological counterattack. The move that makes even experienced handlers back down. You're about to learn not only how to defend yourself, but to reverse the dynamic, making the predator feel like it has entered the wrong territory. Up to this point, you have learned to see, to be interpreted, to protect oneself. But that only puts you on a level that ordinary people never reach. We are not targeting ordinary people. We are aiming for the top of the invisible hierarchy. And at the top, surviving isn't enough. It needs to be mastered. Now you will learn the psychological counterattack, a technique that makes even experienced handlers realize they've chosen the wrong prey. And I want you to understand something before we continue. A counterattack is not an attack. Counterattack is a revelation, revealing what the other fears, revealing the loopholes he tried to hide, the revelation of the intention he believed he had concealed. A predator becomes desperate when it realizes it is being watched, and that's exactly what you're going to do to anyone who tries to manipulate you. 1. Shifting focus. You turn the mirror that devours the mask. Manipulators need you to look at them the way they plan to. They construct the perfect role: kind, victim, savior, ally, partner. But when you shift the focus, when you start noticing what they didn't want you to see, the mask begins to tremble. You ask, why did you say that right now? Why did you remain silent after that comment? Why did your expression change when I mentioned that name? These questions are like scalpels. They cut through the fabric of intention, and the manipulator bleeds emotionally because they realize they no longer control the narrative. 2. The subtle exposure, the truth you let slip on purpose. You don't accuse. It doesn't confront. It doesn't say, I know. You only let slip small phrases that indicate you're seeing beyond the surface. Interesting how his attitude has changed. It's curious how you stopped blinking. I noticed his silence there. This destroys the manipulator from the inside out. Why don't you expose him completely? It just shows that you're looking, and the predator fears the gaze more than the sword. 3. Pressure reversal. It begins to react to your movements. While everyone else reacts to the manipulator, you become the only one they need to react to. You change the pace. You control the timing. You decide when to speak and when to remain silent. This reversal creates internal disorganization in the manipulator. He needs to recalculate his strategy every second, and the more he recalculates, he gives more signs, more intentions are leaked, more fear arises. From that point on, he is no longer attacking, he is trying to survive. 4. The emotional ambush, making the manipulator trip over their own script. Handlers operate with internal scripts, pre-prepared phrases, prepared triggers, rehearsed narratives. When you break the emotional rhythm, when he responds with something he didn't expect, he loses the trail. Example, he's trying to blame you. You reply, why do you need me to feel guilty? He tries to flatter you in order to gain access. You reply, what do you hope to achieve with this compliment? He's trying to destabilize you. You reply, do you always do this when you're insecure? At that moment, he gets lost, and when the manipulator loses control, you win. 5. The dominating silence, the sharpest blade. Remember directional silence? You learned how to identify it. Now you're going to use the opposite, the prevailing silence. It's not neutral, it is not passive, it's heavy, it's calculated, it's profound. When the manipulator says something and you remain silent, looking, without blinking, without replying, it falls apart from the inside. Because manipulators fear emptiness. They depend on your reaction to survive. No reaction. They drown in their own theater. You just learned about the psychological counterattack, but something is still missing that separates readers with common intentions of those who truly become impenetrable. Missing unbreakable aura, the psychological state in which no one can measure you, no one can predict you, no one can influence you. And this aura, this invisible presence, will be built upon in the next part. Up to now you have learned techniques, but techniques alone are not enough. Techniques are tools. The aura is the atmosphere, and whoever controls the atmosphere controls the game, the whole thing. An unbreakable aura is not something you create, it's something you become. It's the quiet feeling you convey when you enter a room. It's the kind of presence that makes experienced handlers hesitate before attempting any move. The unbreakable aura is built in 3 layers, and none of them are obvious. 1. The layer of silent presence, the strength that comes from the absence of noise. Ordinary people take up space by making noise. Fragile people take up space by explaining themselves. But strategists take up space in silence. It is the silence that speaks. I know more than you think. I see more than you show. I don't need to prove anything. Appropriate silence creates psychological pressure, not because it's aggressive, but because it is impenetrable. The manipulator feels like they can't read you, and when he can't read you, he loses his main weapon. This is the first step towards an unbreakable aura. 2. The layer of non-reactive gaze, the mind that observes without being observed. When someone tries to measure you, you don't return the measurement. You maintain a steady, slow and steady gaze, not hard, not hostile, simply unwavering. This creates a devastating effect. The person feels like they are being evaluated, but he doesn't know as you are evaluating. And this uncertainty is destructive. The human mind cannot tolerate being observed by something that seems to see more than it should. That non-reactive gaze is the heart of the unbreakable aura. 3. The layer of controlled emotion. The inner ice that nothing melts. You don't seem to be in a hurry. You don't show irritation, you don't show any anxiety. His tone is controlled, your pace is measured, your energy is calculated. This sends a silent message to anyone. I decide the weather here, and when you decide on the weather, decides the intentions of others. Weak intentions crumble in the face of your emotional constancy. Hidden intentions are concealed. Predatory intentions recede because nobody attacks what they can't shake. The plot twist, the part no one ever told you. You are learning how to build an unbreakable aura to protect yourself from manipulators. But here's the truth that changes everything. Most of the people you fear are more afraid of you than you are of them. They just never showed it. They simply hid behind masks. They relied solely on his naivete. But now, you're the one who sees it. You are the one reading this. You are the one observing. You are the one who controls the atmosphere. And when someone who depended on your blindness realizes that you can see, the dynamic is reversed. Power shifts direction. The game is over. This is the plot twist. You are not learning how to defend yourself from others. You are learning how to make them defend themselves against you. An unbreakable aura doesn't protect you. She puts others on the defensive. She forces them to rethink every word, every gesture, every attempt. You become the unpredictable factor, the disruptive element, the presence that nobody wants to test. And that's why the next part is so critical. Now that you have the aura, you need to learn reading intentions from a distance. Before the person opens their mouth, before they look, before they even notice you. It's the next level. The level that transforms you into someone who is not only impenetrable, but inevitable. If you're ready to walk through that door, you might think that an unbreakable aura is just for intimidation, but it does something far more powerful. It allows you to read intentions from a distance, even before the person tries to approach. When your presence is stable, silent, and difficult to interpret, everything around you begins to reveal itself. People adjust, hesitate, retreat, lean, and every micro-movement becomes a map of their intention. Now you no longer react to what others do. You observe what they do before they do it. And this is where the reading becomes almost precognitive. A person with neutral intentions approaches with fluidity. A person with positive intentions approaches with openness. But someone with hidden intentions never arrives whole. They arrive divided. Half their body advances, half retreats. The smile tries to be big, but the hands tremble. The voice tries to sound confident, but the breath betrays the doubt. Nothing is ever uniform. Poorly disguised intentions always arrive broken. This is the first great secret to reading someone from a distance. True intention never enters through the door with the person. It enters through their posture, before speaking, before looking, before smiling. And you see this now because you are finally stable enough to perceive it. People who want something from you always approach you by calculating the impact they want to make. If they want approval, they arrive smiling too quickly. If they want to manipulate, they arrive too neutral. If they want to intimidate, they arrive too assertive. Exaggeration is always intentional, always. And then there's the most important pattern of all. The more someone tries to appear casual, the more intention there is behind it. Genuine people don't perform normality, they simply exist. But people with a hidden motive rehearse their entrance, rehearse their posture, rehearse even their breathing rhythm. When you see someone overly styled, overly harmonious, overly controlled, know that it's not natural. Nothing natural is so perfect. Now observe something that has always been in front of you, but that your mind has ignored for years. Every person who intends to invade your mind, your life, or your emotional energy has a specific signature. They observe you before revealing themselves. Always. Someone who looks at you first and speaks later is not there by chance. They are there strategically. And then comes the second level of reading from a distance, perceiving not only what the person does, but what they avoid doing. People with hidden intentions avoid direct questions, avoid eye contact at critical moments, avoid details about themselves, and avoid showing vulnerability, not out of coldness, out of calculation, because revealing any part of themselves weakens their ability to manipulate you. The intention always tries to protect itself from exposure, but there's something even more dangerous, and this is what you need to understand now. The more someone tries to hide their intentions, the more they overflow. The human body is incapable of maintaining an emotional life for very long. A person who observes you from a distance, but looks away too quickly when you notice. A person who smiles to disguise their feelings, but subtly clenches their teeth at the end. A person who compliments you, but whose chest doesn't expand as it should when the emotion is genuine. You see it all now, even if you don't want to. And don't think for a second that this is just for detecting threats. You'll also use it to detect interest, loyalty, opportunity, and advantage. Human intent is a map, and now you read the whole map. People leave emotional traces in the air, like dust illuminated by a beam of light. Before, you lived in the dark. Now you hold the flashlight. But there's still one piece missing. The final piece. The skill that transforms you into someone who not only reads intentions, but anticipates moves. The skill that makes anyone trying to manipulate you realize too soon that they've chosen the wrong target. And this piece isn't reading. It's not defense. It's not counterattack. It's something much deeper, much more dangerous, and much more powerful. You believe that the greatest weapon anyone can have is the ability to read intentions. But that's only the surface. The ultimate skill, the one few achieve, is not interpreting others. It's becoming impossible to interpret. When no one can know what you think, what you feel, what you want, or where you're going, you cease to be a piece on the board. You become the entire board. And that's when the intentions of others completely lose their power. The human mind only attacks what it understands. It only manipulates what it foresees. It only controls what it can fit into a pattern. When you escape the pattern, you escape manipulation. When you become illegible, you become unattainable. And this is where the transformation happens. The same gaze that once sought to explore you now hesitates. The same voice that once tried to guide you now stumbles. The same presence that once tried to dominate you, now retreats. To become unreadable, you need to understand a simple truth. Predictability is vulnerability. The more predictable you are, the more manipulable you become. Your predictable emotions, your predictable responses, your predictable reactions. All of that is ammunition. So you kill predictability, silence your impulses, stabilize your emotions, control your pace, observe more than you speak, deliver less than expected, and little by little, your presence changes. It's not cold, it's not aggressive, it's enigmatic, a calculated silence that makes everyone wonder what you know that they don't. True strength lies not in appearing strong, it lies in showing nothing. People try to provoke you, and you don't take the bait. People try to test you, and you don't react. People try to guess your intentions, and you let them guess wrong. This creates a fog around you, a fog that confuses, intimidates, and destabilizes those who try to dominate you. And when someone can't predict you, they automatically start protecting themselves, even if you haven't done anything. But there's an even deeper detail. When you become unreadable, you start noticing things you never noticed before, not by magic, but because the world reacts differently to you. People who underestimated you start to hold back. People who tried to impose things on you start to measure their words. People who used to talk too much now filter their sentences. People who played games with you now think twice before taking the next step. And it's in this change of behavior that true intentions finally appear. Not when you pressure them, but when the other person feels, deep down, that they don't have an advantage over you. Human intentions are revealed when a person loses a sense of control. The more inexplicable you become, the more people show who they really are. That person who treated you with kindness may reveal a hidden unease. That ever-available friend may reveal silent envy. That seemingly loyal partner may reveal weaknesses they kept locked away. Not because you've changed, but because your presence has become a mirror, and people can't lie to what they see in their own reflection. And it is at this point that the game changes completely. When no one can predict you, everyone begins to reveal themselves. Intentions are effortlessly exposed. Masks slip without a trace. True nature appears without warning. You become a magnet for hidden truths, and this gives you an advantage that few people experience in life: silent power. Not the power to dominate, but the power to see, the power to choose, the power to decide who enters, who stays, who leaves. But make no mistake, reading intentions, mastering silence, building an aura, becoming unreadable, none of that is the end. It's just the beginning, because there's a level above, a level you haven't accessed yet. The level where you not only read intentions, but influence intentions. Not manipulation, not force, not deception, but the ability to shape the other person's perception of you, and with that, shape their behavior without them realizing it. This is the part that transforms players into architects, and architects into sovereigns. But that you're not ready to hear right now. Maybe in the next video. If you really want to take the next step, you know where to find me.